Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos, three pals talk about nerd shit. And this week we are doing the summer movie wager where we are trying to guess the top 10 blockbuster movies of the summer. My name is Luis Gonzalez and with me is...
Miguel Sanchez.
And Deadpool.
And this is my favorite time of the year, guys. I love this time of the year. This is where we both, all three of us, get to decide what movie goes where in the top 10 box office. Historically speaking, Ed, you have won. You won the very first summer movie wager. You got that correct. And then Miguel, you won last year's summer movie wager. So the pressure's on for me to predict correctly what the top 10 blockbuster movies are going to be. However, I will say I have been consistently second. So
okay, that's like my Fortnite ranking right now. Like I'm just like consistently second. I'm consistently botching it at the end.
That's okay.
Salieri.
There are a couple rules, but before we do that, guys, I think we should just cheers. All right, let's cheers for a new year. Miguel, you reigned your championship very well.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
The year flew by so fast. I
couldn't believe we were already doing it, right?
Yeah. When Luis texted us last week.
I'm excited to cheers here.
Is that milk?
Was that fucking milk?
Oh, you're right. Excuse me. This episode's being released near May 4th. May the 4th be with you. So, of course, I'm going to be drinking blue milk. This is True Moo's blue milk. Okay?
Leche con azul.
Pour the power of protein. I don't like it. It is blue-colored, vanilla, low-fat milk with natural flavors.
Drink it right now. Drink it right now.
Heavy.
Take a swig.
All right.
Cheers.
I got a nice glass that I'm going to pour.
Happy summer movie wager.
I'm so mad right now. I'm so mad.
Here we go.
Now put tequila in it.
All right. Happy summer movie wager. I'm drinking it.
Cheers.
Tastes like milk with a little vanilla. Okay. So this is how it's going to work. The summer season begins May 5th. That's when this episode released all the way to Labor Day, September 4th. We are only going to do domestic numbers only. And we're going to do our top 10 picks. And then at the very end, we'll do the 3 wild cards. Now, there are points, guys. There's points. If you get number 1 or number 10 dead on, you get 13 points. If you get 2 to 9 dead on, that's 10 points. If you are 1 pick away, you get 7 points. If you're 2 spots away, you get 5 points. And if your movie makes it anywhere in the top 10, you get 3 points. And we're going to have these dark horses that don't make it in our top 10. But if those dark horses do make it into the top 10, it's 1 point. Okay. Once again, I'd like to shout this out to the Filmcast podcast where I got this idea. And thank you very much for bringing this idea. I wanted to play it, and here we are. First off, before we play, guys, thoughts in the summer. What are we thinking about the summer? Putting these numbers together, how did we feel? I was very excited. Miguel,
I think this is a good summer, you guys. Like Ed kind of texted earlier about this, but this is positive to me. There's like less franchises this summer. And the franchises that are here this summer, they have been away for a very long time, you know? And so it's like there's excitement brewing for them to come back. So I think, I think there's a lot of magic in the air. I tried to follow a formula that I followed last year, and I'll talk more about it later. But I think that this summer is a good summer.
Yeah. Ed, what are your thoughts on the summer?
I think it is going to be an interesting summer. I don't think it's necessarily going to be a bad summer in that, like Miguel's saying, we don't have like a million superhero movies coming out. We don't, it's not the same run of the mill. And whilst last year was surprising in a lot of ways, like you were saying, Miguel, we're coming back to, yes, some familiar franchises, some we've seen more recently, like Bad Boys, and then some maybe like the last 7 years since we've seen a Planet of the Apes film. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting. I mean, a lot of considerable time for a lot of movies, and it'll be interesting to see how audiences react to it now. But yeah, make one prediction? I don't think a single movie is going to hit $1 billion this year.
I agree with you, and I bouncing off of that, piggybacking off of that. I feel like this is going to be a very low, budget box office summer where, you know, in the past we've gotten like 600 million, 500 million, like the top 3 or 4 were 300 million. And here it's like, man, I personally had a hard time picking which ones were even going to be in the top 10. Like, wow, that number 10 and 9 or 8 may not even make a lot of money.
For sure.
For me, this summer isn't as exciting as past summers. I think there was only a handful of options that I really liked. And the other ones I'm just been kind of throwing in there. But that's just me. So we were running the gamut here of Miguel hyped on the summer and me just, you know, excited for a few.
It's not so much that I'm like, I'm not going to be sat for all of these movies. Okay. Like I'm not rushing to the theaters, but I do think there is some magic happening. And do I think it's going to be as big as like Barbenheimer? No. Okay.
Right.
But I do think some surprise hits of the summer. Interesting point about $1 billion is just like how often since COVID has that happened? You know what I mean? Right. It doesn't feel like that is the standard anymore.
No, the highs of 2019 we have not met again. You know,
so
it's been very hard for people to match that.
But there are going to be some fun, interesting elements that we're going to see more of this year, especially after Barbenheimer. Is that we are seeing 100% more IMAX releases for a lot of movies. Like I'm talking about, you've got Furiosa, The Fall Guy. A lot of movies are pushing for that IMAX screen, and audiences are currently buying into that. Like Civil War did pretty well, and a big part of that was because of IMAX screenings. And that's a small movie, you know. But yeah, I think most of the movies coming up on this list, they are pushing that IMAX viewing experience. So I think that'll be fun to see how that affects box office.
1,000%. I agree with you, Ed, on that too. I think we should just jump into this thing. Let's start with number 10. We'll go Ed, Miguel, me, as far as these guesses go. So to kick off the 2024 summer movie wager, Ed,
number 10, right?
Who do you pick
number 10
for your number 10?
Okay, guys, we're talking about old franchises. I'm talking about the oldest of them all. It's Alien Romulus. Is my number 10. I think if it pulls it off and this gets good reviews, I think it'll do solid. But I don't think any Alien movie has really gone beyond 100 mil. So that's why I've got it so low. Like Prometheus did like 126, but didn't have very long legs, and Covenant did way worse than that. So it's been, people might be skeptical coming into a new Alien film, you know?
I agree 100%. One of the things I was thinking about on each franchise that I thought about for this summer was what is the temperature of these franchises? And Alien is cooling. Every time an Alien movie comes out, what's the goal of that movie is to capture the magic of the original 2 movies. Okay. Yeah. They want it to be good. They want to put butts in the seats. Ridley Scott's coming back. You know, they're getting this movie. The Alien is in this one. It's not just a prequel, yada, yada, yada. And every time it kind of falls a little flat, at least for me.
Yeah.
So
no,
I do think it's a worthy top 10. But I agree with that. I think it's kind of early, lower in the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it does well. I hope it is good. Like, God knows a good Alien movie is long overdue, but it is also that franchise staleness that people are wary of. And like I said, the moment, you know, if this movie just isn't up to par to expectations,
it'll fall off.
It's going to fall so hard. Yeah. So
I feel like it's an opportunity for this franchise to be reinvigorated with the new leadership, with Fede Alvarez, the director, kind of instill some new spirit into it. So and it's tough too, because this movie is coming out August 16th, near the tail end of the summer. And so it has to do a lot of work to kind of get into that top 10 era. But if he pulls it off, then a lot of people can flock to it.
And, you know, just like those first 2 weekends could make a difference compared to some other movies that might be lacking. So, who knows? I wish it all the best. And, like, the teaser trailer has me hyped enough to want to see it, you know? New cast, like you were saying, Luis, new generation. And we've seen some like old slasher movies do well with getting a little reboot with a new cast, like Scream and Halloween, you know. But then like the second movie isn't very good. So I don't know. It's just one of those. But I'm content to put it here at my number 10.
Okay.
All right, Miguel.
10 for me is another like temperature taker. You know what I mean? We need to see, is he on a comeback or is his fate sealed? Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about a franchise that, Luis, I think you kind of like. I want to see what Will Smith's doing this summer. Okay. Bad Boys. Listen, that third Bad Boys movie. Did y'all see that one?
No,
do you guys remember a lot of hype?
No.
Me either. So this is low. This is low on my list, but it's a temperature taker, right? Is Will Smith coming back? That is kind of the question mark for a lot of his projects right now. Do I think it could like breach the top 10? Yeah, I kind of do. Do I think it's going to be $1 billion maker? No, I don't.
Right.
So that's for me is Bad Boys. It's not Bad Boys for life. It's like Bad Boys. We ruined the title in the last one.
Ride or Die. Yeah.
Yeah. Bad Boys. 4.
Well, you know, and that last one, Bad Boys for Life.
That should have been the fourth one.
Bad Boys 3 for life.
What the hell?
They didn't think they would get to make a fourth one.
Oh, okay. Well,
but that last one made $206 million domestic.
Oh. The way I panicked.
I really need to figure this out. No, but that was actually a hit. That's why they had this follow-up. But
that's what
this
I'm saying.
follow-up is coming after the slap.
Yeah.
So,
but $200 million is $200 million. That's $200 million
to break
closer.
through the 10.
That's what I'm saying. And if someone's on a tiebreaker, that could be the thing that pushes them forward.
I'm really curious about it because of post the slap. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to work?
I probably won't watch it because I'm not ready for Will Smith yet.
I'm not a Bad Boys fan, so I had no intention of seeing this movie. I am a bad boy though.
My number 10 is something that requires a little bit of an imagination. This is John Krasinski's Imaginary Friend. Imaginary Friend is my 10th pick. If you will, starring Ryan Reynolds and a couple people that I don't know. But it seems just like it's coming in early on May 17th. So it's got a long way to go. It could be a fun movie. It could be a good family movie. I know it's a new property, but maybe it might get word of mouth. So I'm just kind of, interesting, a bunch of interesting creatives, and let's just see where it goes. I don't know. It's a wild card here.
I don't want to, but it's not an actual wild card.
No, it's not an actual wild card. Yeah. I'm just,
I don't want to overtalk everyone that we talk about, but I really have thought about a lot of these choices. The reason why Ryan Reynolds didn't make it in my top 10 is because I think if I'm betting on another Ryan Reynolds movie, it's not going to be this one. You know what I mean? Sure. And there's plenty of other family movies that I think are gonna make top 10. So this one didn't make my 10, but it was something that we considered in my house.
I think it's one of the earlier ones. I think it may be the first one to be a family film that people can start watching. So if the summer's ready to go, and we
saw last year with Guardians of the Galaxy, which wasn't a family film, but it was a superhero film. Yeah. And we were talking about superhero fatigue last year, but Guardians had legs, you know what I mean? And that early summer release really does play into
that's what happened with Elemental. Elemental started off really badly, and then people started taking wind of it, and then it started doing better and better. So it has more room to kind of go up the chain.
I just want to say, this is our third year. We're learning. You know what I mean? I feel like we're getting good at this. Okay.
Okay. Number 9, Ed, go for it. What's your number 9?
All right, number 9. This is another comeback. We already mentioned it 7 years ago. We had the War of the Planet of the Apes, and now we're having Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now we don't have Matt Reeves returning to direct this one. It's Wes Ball, who directed the Maze Runner franchise.
Your brother.
So do with that. Yep.
Oh, cousin Wes.
Cousin Wes. So this has a lot of people who may not have been big Planet of the Apes fans might be wondering, why are they continuing this? Some people can see that there is a story to be continued, to make the full circle of the Planet of the Apes that, we know through pop culture and everything. But I don't think people are necessarily buzzing about these films. But if this one's good, I think it could make a solid hit to get its way into the top 10. And again, this one's being pushed on IMAX and bigger screens and stuff. And all of those movies did relatively well in the past. Not really going below 140 million domestically. So they've always been a kind of solid hit. So we'll see if people still have an appetite for it.
It might not be a big seller to the casual audience, but Andy Serkis did do a little featurette for the movie, and he was like, "I'm passing the baton." Wes has such a clear vision for the future, yada yada. Yeah. But I will say, when you watch the trailer, some of that CGI is a little shoddy. So
yeah.
We can talk about it.
Just wait till it's up on the big screen. We'll see. But I'm curious to see it. I'm a fan of the franchise. I want to see where they take the story. But it might not appeal to everyone. But it is also one of the earlier big blockbusters this summer. So that gives it a little push.
Coming out May 10th. Coming out very soon. A franchise I tried to start watching again, so I could do a ranking.
There you go.
Don't know if I'll make it in time. Miguel, what's your number 9?
Ed mentioned it in the last one. I kind of already said my thoughts on it, but I'm going to go ahead and throw out Alien Romulus. This is a franchise that like I said, people are cooling on it, and I think this is the chance, but I think that's kind of what every Alien movie has been so far, is a chance.
It's a chance,
yeah. So I'm going to put it at number 9. I think it will do better than Bad Boys. Okay, whether they're in the top 10 or not, I think it will do better. Okay, so number 9, Alien.
All right, everybody, shut up, because here comes my number 9. John Krasinski has blessed us with Imaginary Friend. We're also going to do another John Krasinski movie here. Quiet Place, Day One. Shh. That's my number 9 pick. I don't know what else to say about it. I guess I think it's going to land low, but I don't think it'll be high. Comes out June 28th.
But he didn't direct this one, right?
No, but he is producing.
But he's it's vibes. It's all vibes.
It's his baby.
Of course.
It's his franchise,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything too much, but I just want to say that this year I'm coming in confident with my choices, and I'm not going to let other people's opinion on this podcast. I'm not going to let it sway me.
Well, hold on. I guess I guess we'll get to it, because it feels like Quiet Place might be later on in your spot. Maybe I don't have a pulse on it, but I just feel like only a few people are into it. Those who are into it, but the general public, I don't know, are going to show up. I could be proven wrong about this, but I just don't feel that connected.
I hear what you're saying.
Miguel, you can't take us having different opinions as criticism either.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Well, no, that's what I'm saying is this year I'm not taking it as personal. Okay, I think that it's good that maybe one of us sees it lower or higher,
Oh, okay.
That's what's fun. That's what's fun.
That's the whole point. Yep.
Exactly. Ed?
Yeah. Oh, it's my turn. Right?
Let's hear that grade 8.
Okay, sorry. Okay, number 8. We talked about it already. I'm just waiting to see what happens post Slap, but that most recent one did do pretty good, so maybe people are still hot for it. It's Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
Interesting placement for. I just said that I thought Alien would do better than Bad Boys.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that deliberately. Again, I wrote this list down, Miguel. Before.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just making conversation. I just think that's interesting that we have different. Let's see how it plays out for us.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love for Alien to do much better than Bad Boys. I have no affection for.
I want Alien to do well every time.
I do too. What I mean? I really do too.
And this one does look good. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like it's a time. I wish it came out earlier. But I understand it's a lot of competition up here. Miguel, what's your number 8?
Okay, so I talked about a formula, you know what I mean, that I kind of view summer movies as. I kind of mentioned this last year. I think Pixar, you know what I mean, is one of those, like, it can do really well, especially when it's an original Pixar. But when it's a sequel, you kind of have to go, it may go one way or the other. In this house, my son is super looking forward to this movie. I hope it does well. Number 8, Inside Out 2. Okay.
There you go.
I'm curious. I'm curious to know about, as we talk about the animation movies, about the temperature that your kids have towards it. You know,
he has affected my animation movies of the summer. There is one I'll put a little bit higher. And I'll talk about it when I get there. It's not just him, but I do think there is a movie that will outwin Inside Out 2. So we'll get to it.
I think it might be the one I'm interested to talk about.
Okay.
Garfield, right?
My number 8 is a movie we've talked about already. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I'm with you there, Ed. Yeah, I just think that many people won't show up, but it's kind of like that Fast and Furious Transformers kind of.
Interesting point. Yeah. Interesting point is we're not getting Fast and Furious. We're not getting Transformers this summer. You know what I mean?
It feels like that's where it would go, and so that's kind of slotting into that place.
It's helpful that those movies aren't here. You know?
Yeah.
But also, like, those movies didn't do well at all last year either. They were in the bottom of the bottom. Which is
but Ed mentioned earlier, the Apes franchise has been like, what, 7 years since it came out? So it's like, if we're gonna do it again, okay, at least it wasn't like last year we just did. It
still feels like too soon. Even it being 7 years to me personally, but I'm just like, what? We're doing this again? All right, number 7. Oh, yeah, that comes out May 10th. Number 7.
Oh, it's me again. Luis, you already mentioned this one again. I feel like the second one did surprisingly well, even though I just don't think anybody talks about it now. But A Quiet Place, Day One. It's also kind of like, it's a recognizable horror, and it's one of the earlier horrors coming out this summer, that people can dip their toes in more But so I don't know if I'm excited for it necessarily, but we'll see.
You're right. One of the few horrors, and it's coming out at a good time in June 28th.
Yeah.
So. But it's also not one of those horrors that like has to be close to October. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Like it can be an action thriller horror movie.
Yeah.
Horror is kind of like maybe the third part of the genre.
Thriller.
Yes.
It's when they made the second one, I was like, oh wow, we're doing a second one. And then when they did the third one, I was like, oh wow, we're doing a third one. And then at that point, I realized, oh, we're a franchise now.
But it's also a prequel, so it's like when the third one becomes the prequel. I don't know.
I didn't see the second one, so I didn't know where we could have gone after the second one. Cool. A Quiet Place, Day One.
This one, my turn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my 7th one, this is more so I'm just kind of like feeling a vibe. This is not something that I'm like flocking to at all. Luis, you've talked about the first couple of movies in this franchise. I don't know if it's a franchise, if we can call it that. Okay. But it seems like Mia Goth has an audience. Okay. And because I don't know as much, I put it a little lower on my list, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to say Maxine. I think Maxine has kind of a vibe for the summer.
Love that. I
would have, for me, I would have loved if we had shifted the window up a little bit and we put Challengers in the summer movie box office.
That would have changed the game.
I would have thrown Challengers in it. I don't get Challengers now because of the window, but I kind of felt like Maxine may give us a similar vibe from a different franchise. Does that make sense?
If you're after watching Challengers, if you want a little bit of more of that.
Exactly. And so that's kind of my thought process.
I haven't seen Challengers. Ed has.
Yeah.
Well, and again, I'm going on vibes because I'm on the internet. Sure, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen the movie.
You haven't seen X or Pearl, and I'm not going to tell you what those movies made.
And that's what I'm saying is like, I don't really know if I'm right on this, but that's why I threw it in 7. I threw it kind of like lower tier,
I got you.
But would I like it to work out? Yeah.
But that's a movie I do want to see, you know?
Mhm.
Okay.
The champion, the past champion has spoken.
Yeah,
All
it's a vibe.
My number 7. This movie originally wasn't on my list, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, it's got to be on the list. And it kept creeping higher and higher. And you know what? It could probably go higher, but just for my own, I don't know. I couldn't stomach it to go any higher. So it's going to live here, but it might surpass it. My number 7 belongs to a man who should not be doing voiceovers as much as he does.
Okay.
This is going to go to Garfield.
Right. I wrote it down before you even said it. I said, yes, sir. I know what you're talking about.
The man makes money. Every time he does voiceover work for animations, it makes money.
Okay.
The only thing is Garfield is not as as it was before.
We had this conversation in my house. This was something that I'm on the same page. I don't like Chris Pratt. I get the vibe. Oh my God, another Chris Pratt movie. I'm always on the same page.
But the world doesn't care.
But the world doesn't care. And also, you're absolutely right. Take it back. Forget Mario for a second. The Lego movie was a hit. That kind of cemented Chris Pratt. He could already do live action. He could already do sitcoms. He can also do voiceover, whether you feel voice acting, whether you like it or not, you know? I agree with you, Luis, though. Garfield is not the franchise like Mario was last year. You know what I mean? Mario is a hit. They got to land in Disney or Universal after Mario. You know what I mean? And I'm going to talk about that later, about like when these animated movies step beyond the screen and like go into the real world for people to live in. Do I think Garfield's that movie? No. But that was definitely something I considered for a top 10 because of Chris Pratt. So solid choice.
I think this could snowball into something bigger if the studio runs it right. Like this could grow into a thing if they really make it a forward presenting IP. But yeah, I mean, listen, his movies make money. So Garfield, it's there.
I get it.
It was not even on the list on Sunday, and then it was number 10 this morning, and then it went all the way up to 7.
What made you surge it forward?
I'm just I don't
curious.
know. I guess just Chris
they haven't
Pratt's
dropped a new trailer or anything.
No, it's coming out June 24th. It's got, I don't know what it is. It's a cute ass cat. I just had a feeling it's like a cute cat early in the summer kids movie. It's got Chris Pratt, which
even
like
if kids,
generic.
Sorry, I was gonna say even if kids don't know Garfield, kids could be drawn into that.
Yeah.
And their parent who knows Garfield could be like, well, I could watch a Garfield movie. They don't come out too often. The Bill Murray one, talking about franchises that have already come out, the Bill Murray Garfield movies, that was what, 07? You know what I mean? Like 08?
I want to see how much they made.
It didn't make a lot. It didn't make a lot of money at all.
That was so
This
long
is a gamble.
ago.
This is a gamble, but also maybe not. Like this is a weird place because I don't even want it to be here, but whatever. We're here.
I get
Garfield
you.
7.
I support the decision, honestly.
Thank you. Okay. All right, Ed, what's your number 6?
It's Garfield. No. Number 6, sorry. Okay. Guys, this is... You could call this a franchise, but it's not one that I've partaken in. But I feel like it's going to spin right around this summer and make a bit of money. It's Twisters. The good old James Cameron philosophy. If you put an S to the end of it, you guys make money. So you know, just every time I see the trailer, I'm just like, but I just feel this. I have this sense that people are going to go see this movie.
Yeah, you do.
Because it's a familiar disaster film that people, you know, we don't have like another real disaster movie coming out this year that isn't.
This is man versus nature. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You got Glenn Powell, who is he's having a great year. So far, and he, you know. You've got a director whose last movie was Oscar nominated for Best Picture, Best Director. And that's Lee Isaac Chung, by the way, who directed
We
Minari.
knew that. Yeah, thank you.
For our audience. Yeah. But yeah, so it's like that whole thing has me curious, but it just
you're kind of swept up.
It's an IMAX, yeah, swept up. Just don't flatten me with a house or whatever,
or a cow,
No, this is Twisters feels like one of those random ones that are coming into play, like Elvis. Like I don't know why it feels that way, but like Elvis was surprising how high it went. It was at a 5 as well,
right?
And I think that Oppenheimer places. I don't know, just something about it. Like all people are going to enjoy it, from like men to women to even like kids.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like, oh, let's be daring and watch Twisters. It's just a different.
Guys,
something.
Let's say it together. It's vibe.
Twister.
Oh no!
What'd you say?
I said it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Okay. Oh man, guys, I'm kind of like trying to find other words besides vibe right now.
I'm sorry.
No, okay.
I don't apologize. You're going to hear me say vibe.
I know you are.
It,
I'm just hearing it everywhere right now at work, and it's become
because it's
so tough.
The car thing.
Yeah. Let's not talk ill about any kind of car company. Miguel, Miguel, what's your
Okay, so here I have thoughts on this. There's a reason why this is on here. I don't necessarily Okay, I'm not going to overtalk it.
Okay.
Number 6 for me.
I do love it when we preamble our picks. I will say that. Okay. But go ahead.
For me, it's another family-friendly animated movie. It's Despicable Me 4. Okay.
Okay.
There's a couple of reasons why I think this movie is going to be higher than Pixar's Inside Out 2. Okay. Mm-hmm. I said it a second ago. Despicable Me, Minions, or whatever. There is a land for that at Universal, both Universals, right?
Yeah.
Last year or the year before, the Gentle Minions, you know what I mean? There was a whole movement for that. My son, again, just anecdotally, my son has become a big fan of this franchise.
Yeah.
He's very much looking forward to this movie. And when I was talking about it with my wife, one of the things I said was, well, like even parents, they're kind of getting like tired of this franchise. Oh, you're going to drag me to go see another Despicable Me movie. But there's new kids, there's new parents that are coming up that are like, well, my kid liked these other movies at home. We're definitely going to go see this one.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a little bit more of a drive for the younger audience as opposed to Inside Out, which is playing more towards like that preteen teenager era of childhood. You know what I mean? So I think this one's going to do just a little bit better. It's got the original cast back, right? Steve Carell's coming back. This isn't a spin-off. We're coming the whole family plus a new adventure. This is the one that I'm banking on. So
I think so. I think especially with all the Minion hype from a couple years ago, it feels like this franchise still has a lot of legs to it.
It will not die.
Yeah. My number 6, we've talked about Ryan Reynolds in John Krasinski movie. We talked about John Krasinski movie. I got to talk about another Ryan movie.
You're joking.
I think that this movie starring Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt in The Fall Guy.
Miguel,
I was about to have a heart attack. Okay?
I know. No, I think this movie, it's coming out really early this weekend when this podcast drops. It has a lot of legs. I think it could, with all the premium formats and the fun adventure, I think it could creep its way up by word of mouth and just, not just live for that weekend, but maybe reappear again later in June and then in July. I don't know. It's just a feeling as well, because it's kind of hard to compare this with a lot of other movies. Yeah. We have Bullet Train, we have the fight movies, we have some stuff, but I feel like this is its own kind of beast. And I'm just really optimistic. I feel like some people are pessimistic about this movie doing well. Just for some reason, I'm throwing good feelings towards it.
Well, here's what's going to work for you. Barbie was such a big hit. Ryan Reynolds is kind of on. He was
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling. Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is kind of on a career high / resurgence. You know what I mean? Like he was already kind of making movies that are popular, but now he's like even more mainstream. People are going to want to see that. Kristen brought up a good point. She was reading that people are talking about how they couldn't believe Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt haven't done a movie together. Their chemistry is kind of off the charts in this trailer.
Yeah.
So this is a sell. I could totally see it. I'm kicking myself because that was a movie I was going to put on my top 10, and I'm just now realizing on Vibes earlier I did not put it on here.
Miguel.
So I'm gonna stick with it, even if I fucked myself. That's okay. Yeah. But no, that's a solid choice, and it sounds like Ed might have it.
Yeah,
a little
the
higher
chemistry
too.
is. I feel like is for me. It's coming off the screen. It's explosive. You have these premium formats now. It can find a way if it can. I don't know.
Like I would have shifted Bad Boys off this list 100% if I'd remembered. Fuck.
I'll say if Fall Guy doesn't do that well, this top 10, then that type of feeling and genre and action and momentum that we're gonna see dwindling. Results after it, because
it does give slight Netflix movie vibes. You know what I mean? Like some of these shots do look very like green screened action in the back. You know what I mean? Action in the back. No, I don't know. Now maybe I'm just justifying myself here, so I feel better about it. But I'll take it. I'll take my loss if I have to.
Okay, that's my number 6. We're going into our top 5 now. Ed, number 5 pick.
All right. Well, I felt like I was fuckled with last year with Elemental. It's a movie that opened very low, and I had it kind of low on my list because it didn't. Pixar was on the down and down after Lightyear. And
Louise.
And it so I've kind of balanced it out from between Lightyear to Elemental. I'm putting Inside Out right smack bang in my number 5.
That's a solid choice.
People do reflect. I don't think Inside Out is one of those movies where, like, when you think of Pixar, you think of that. But it is one of those movies that clearly resonated. It was nominated for Best Picture. It won Best Animated Feature, and it did definitely strike a chord with a lot of people. And it did rather well. I think it... let me check my numbers here. There it is. It made 356 domestic. So even if you did counter that with like the, if you want to call it like, Pixar downslope right now, I don't know. I still think it has legs, just like Elemental did. It just kind of stuck around. It was the, at least at the time, it's the one kids movie that people, grown-ups find Pixar movies more appealing, if they can balance it out from the Despicable Me to something that's more like in tune with emotions and stuff like that, and the human experience, then that's what they'll try and gun for. So we'll see. I don't know, but am I excited for it? But like Miguel said, with Pixar sequels, there's always this kind of like, but do we or don't we kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I
have a question for you.
Yeah, go.
Toy Story, for both of you, if Toy Story 5 came out instead of Inside Out 2, would you rank it higher?
That's yes. Really tough because Ed said yes.
But what do you that's what Ed thinks. What do you think, Miguel?
So these movies really come down to, and just as like personal, are we seeing it, come down to my son. Is he excited for these movies? Right. He loves the Toy Story franchise. He is also very excited for Inside Out 2. He sees that poster in the movie theaters and he wants to go and like touch it and point to all the characters. Like he's very excited about it. If it were just me, like looking like on the outside, I would say maybe Inside Out over Toy Story because Toy Story has been so, overdone. And Inside Out is like, it was an original concept, and this is just the sequel, the very first sequel to it, so it has potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would bank on it.
My only argument to that would just be simply that Toy Story is such a marketable
land. They have a land at Disney.
They have a land.
Okay.
Whereas Inside Out, when you reflect on all Pixar movies, like Inside Out was one of those movies where you kind of thought was singular in its storytelling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same with like Up. I don't think anybody really wanted a sequel for Up. Ratatouille, WALL-E. If they made a WALL-E 2, it's that. and I'm not saying that they haven't found a story that works. I'm talking purely marketing and
but kind of immediately
Toy Story.
You could have been like, I want a Toy Story 2 as soon as that first movie was over. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas this one was more of like, I got in touch with my feelings. I say goodbye to Bing Bong, and I'm going to cry a little over here. But Toy Story has had those similar things with Toy Story 3, but then, a very successful Toy Story 4, even though, maybe it didn't resonate with the older audiences now, because like you said, they keep beating that same drum. But who knows? That's why I put it in number 5, right smack bang in the middle.
I think that's a solid choice. I think 5 is great. It wasn't number 1, Luis. You know what I mean?
Wait till you find out what my number 1 is. Never say never.
All right, so Miguel, number 5.
Okay, we've talked about it already. I'm going to go ahead and throw it on my list as well. A little bit higher, but kind of like with Ed, smack dab in the middle. I think this is a respectable approach for this movie. Listen, Andy Serkis isn't a part of this one anymore, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Okay. I'm writing this down.
Interesting.
This was a movie that a few months ago when we talked about the trailer, I was cold. I just wasn't here for it. I did go back and watch the Andy Serkis Apes movies and was really drawn in, even to the third one, which I remember thinking I didn't like as much. I came back to it and was like, I like these movies.
Yeah.
And you guys made a really good point about, Ed kind of said it already in this episode, was we're coming back to like the format of Planet of the Apes, right? Like it is a future storyline. And they are taking the threads of those movies and putting it kind of where you expect it to go. The hold up for me, and this is a trailer vibe, is the CGI is not as good. We have talked about trailer CGI many times before. It can get better by the movie. But because Andy Serkis is not a part of this movie, it does have me a little, I don't think it's going to be top 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's all I'll say. I think it has a potential. Oh, the only other thing is that we were talking earlier about there's not a Fast and Furious movie this year,
right?
And this could be that Fast and Furious franchise of the summer. Could be
the audience capturing that same audience.
Yes. And that's why, like Ed in this last one, number 5 for me. Like I think this is a solid one.
I'm going with Bad Boys as my Fast and Furious of this year. You know what I mean? Like I feel
hear you.
That is that's fair, yeah.
But the formula
like
tweaks
quality and tone. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree with what you mean. Planet of the Apes is also very.
It's a reoccurring franchise,
but very like serious and straight faced storytelling. Because if they did what Fast did, family,
strong,
strong, but family strong.
Yeah, no, I'll take it number 5. And
I think that's a good. I genuinely do hope it is good, and I hope it does do well, because I am, I do have a soft spot for the franchise, so I'm here for it.
Okay, my number 5. I love this franchise. And I wish it would get higher. But I don't know if it will, because I don't know if it'll reach general audiences. Loved Fury Road, and I'm excited for Furiosa, but I just don't know if it's going to get high enough. I feel like film nerds on Twitter love it, but then it may not translate to general audiences loving it.
Let's see. Very, very.
Originally on Sunday, I had it at higher on my list, and then I was thinking about it. I was looking at numbers, and I was like, maybe not everyone's as excited about this as me, I had to check myself a little bit. And after seeing the trailer to the second one, I'm not as hyped about it as I was when I watched the trailer for the first one. I will say that.
Right.
The second one seems like someone almost imitating that first movie.
Yeah. But it's George Miller, right?
I know. Yeah. I just have that feeling, so.
Yeah. We'll clearly talk more about it, I guess. I
had it higher. Okay. It changed.
I also had my same, because I feel that when Fury Road came out, there was like this growing fervor about it, about, the buzz started circulating. The movie had gone through so many like reshoots and production issues for like 5 years almost. And a lot of people doubted whether it was actually going to happen. And then like that first trailer dropped at like a Comic-Con or something like that. And I remember watching it for the first time. I was like, this looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt that, but maybe he's just like, we already know the world. We already know where the story's going, but
it doesn't feel as explosive, or I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I feel... I agree. There doesn't. They might be holding back on the spectacle.
You might be right.
For purely just to like
for the event.
From Fury Road and not including any of the other Mad Max movies, you are in that Fury Road world, and that's what people are going to familiarize with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So without giving away, because obviously Fury Road had to regain some of that confidence.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here thinking before that movie comes out, people are gonna revisit Mad Max Fury Road, and they're gonna go. That movie is one of the best, right? Like it was an amazing film. Yeah, I could totally see another one. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna drive people to the audience
and the big formats too. You know, like this is gonna be on a huge screen. People are gonna pay more money for that, and
even if it's less people, if it's more IMAX viewings, money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, you know, a character that everybody adored in Fury Road. Obviously, it's not Charlize Theron, but it's Anya Taylor-Joy.
Who doesn't love Anya Taylor-Joy?
Exactly.
Yeah. And, you know, throw in Chris Hemsworth to boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about Chris Hemsworth later, I guess.
Ed, what's your number 4 pick for...
All right, guys. Don't ask me how I ended up here. That's going
to be the vibe for the top 4 for all of us. Okay.
Yeah. I don't. Well, you know. So I ended up with back-to-back animated movies. You know, kids are an audience too, and that's the summertime, baby.
Yeah.
Parents need to do stuff with kids.
What is it?
And this franchise just never seems to fail at the box office. It's Despicable Me 4.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And even the branch off franchise of Minions, consistent.
Yes.
Like it's kind of insane. Like the second, they just keep actually making more money, if anything.
Yeah.
Yes, they keep making more money.
Tell us.
So much money. Like if this movie ended up at number 2 at the end of the summer, I wouldn't be at all surprised. It's just the movie nerd and snob in me that hopes that it doesn't.
It doesn't matter. This movie makes over $300 million when most of these movies on this top 10 won't even break 200. Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I will say, my kid, this is the summer for him. He's just getting into these movies. And I mean, you should see him bouncing on the couch every time we watch one of these films.
Yeah.
And I'm playing on my phone like I could care less. And he is just like beaming, shouting to the ceiling about how much he loves these movies. So,
dude, you have to come to Universal Studios here when you visit LA because
we did.
Oh yeah, no, but oh yeah, you did. Sorry,
we did. That's another thing that I'm talking about. Is he was very excited. We rode that ride. He saw the Minion. He gave him a high five. Like he's talking about the characters now even more. So yeah,
Bob.
A Kevin. Come on.
Yeah. I forget the third one's name.
I had no idea they had names. I just thought they were like banana. And
put your phone down while you're watching this movie with your kid, and you'll learn something. Okay.
Oh.
Your number 4 was. Wait, was that number 4?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Miguel.
Okay, you guys. I told you I'm confident in my list. Okay. My top 4, I'm very confident in. Okay.
Yes.
I think listen, I don't think this is just a small circle of an audience that's going to go see this movie. I think this is the one. I think they've released one trailer so far, and they'll release more as the movie comes out. Don't get me wrong. It's getting closer to the movie. They'll release another one, but I think they're kind of saving the event of this movie. This is a popular franchise. John Krasinski had something when that first one came out.
Oh.
You guys, Quiet Place Part 3, Day 1. Okay,
Fully ado. Yeah.
Fully quiet. All right. Quiet Place Day 1. You guys, I think this is the one. Lupita Nyong'o, the guy from Stranger Things, who's also going to be Fantastic Four. I
had no idea that he was in this movie.
Watch the trailer.
Okay.
But yeah, she's in it. I get the vibe that she doesn't talk. You know, she's like a mute. You know what I mean? There's like another element to this type of franchise where sound is so important. Jaimin Hunsu, which is an actor who, he kind of deserves better, but he just throws himself into Zack Snyder's arms, apparently. I think this one is going to be a popular popcorn summer movie. Okay.
I'm going to have to, I know I have it so low on my list, but I'm scared of this movie. I'm scared of this movie exploding and just finding a way to just rock it. I want it to do well, but I really feel like if this thing kicks off, it's going to go far.
I think so too. I just was at AMC a couple of weeks ago to go see whatever movie, and they had the like they do the cardboard like cutouts or whatever. It was a subway entrance down
and
into
Lupita's
a subway.
underneath, like.
Yeah, and you can walk into it and take a picture. Yeah, no, it was immersive. It felt like, oh, I'm in this thing. Like it's not just this flat thing. Anyway, yeah, I vibe with the trailer. I think it's a good cast. I think it's a franchise that people like, and if we're gonna do a prequel, it feels like a world where people, right? Like that's the big question. Why are they here? Why is this happening? And this maybe will check a lot of boxes. Top 4 for me, Quiet Place Part 1. Day 1.
The director is pretty all right.
No, I didn't look into any of that. I want pure vibes.
No, that's fine. I'm talking
AMC movie displays. Okay,
I haven't even seen the trailer for this. That's why I was unsure about. And I've seen so many movies.
Why haven't you not watched
the trailer a couple times?
I mean, it's kind of been out for a minute. You haven't seen this trailer?
I have not come across it, and I haven't sorted out either. Again, I felt like that second one just kind of came and went. It made money, like it did decent.
It was also during COVID.
Thing, COVID is it got released on Peacock or whatever, so it drove people to the streaming service. But it was
a movie. Made $20 million less than the first one.
It's a franchise that people like. You know what I mean?
It could be explosive.
And it kind of blows my mind that you haven't watched this trailer. Regardless of our
for surprises, because I love Lupita Nyong'o.
Maybe that's better.
I think she's just flawless and everything.
All right, we'll get after it.
Yeah.
All right.
My number 4 is Twisters.
Yeah.
Yes, Louise. Yes.
I think it might be like it's like Top Gun. Like, let's go! America's here to save the world. I feel like this could have some legs. Number 4 is Twisters.
Okay. Let's talk about it later.
Okay.
Glenn Powell is definitely embracing that Tom Cruise dynamic. You know what I mean? It's just like what does he say in the trailer? It's like, what I say, chase it or whatever.
Yeah. I hear you. Yeah. So you watch this trailer. I pick up. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
I watched this trailer, guys. Anyway, sorry.
Every time I watch a trailer, like I'm not gonna get excited, and by the end of it, I'm like, I'm excited.
Twins. We have twins.
We were talking about Furiosa. When we went to go see Civil War, we were watching the trailers, and I went to the restroom at one point during the trailers, and I came back, and then the latest trailer for Furiosa came on. So I got back up and left again. Oh. And then when I came back, my friend leaned over. He's like, "You okay?" It's just like, just spoilers, bro. I'm just avoiding that trailer.
Yeah.
Ed, baby, you're already Ed. Stop. You're already half deaf. Okay.
Yeah.
You just have to do this, and the movie's gone. It's not there. You know what I mean? Close your eyes and do bop 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 like that.
Yeah, I mean,
physically leaving is deranged, and you should see a therapist.
Luis, what do you do?
I definitely close my eyes and put thumbs in my ears and just start humming.
Okay, humming. I haven't tried
like
humming.
A normal person, Ed.
Rocking back and forth.
Not even your friend. Just think about the people in the rows in front and behind you. They were like, "This guy's getting up again."
The other guy next to me, yeah.
I'd be pissed.
Well, imagine about it. I'm not like
lower your fucking armrest and your footrest one more time, just so you can be like, "Oh, you're getting up again," and you come back empty-handed. Like I would think, "Oh, he forgot the beer. He forgot the candy." He comes back and he's just empty-handed.
Yeah,
I'd smack you.
Good to know.
I'm sure people would be scared of you. Like the people in the back of the theater, like, why is that guy keep coming in and out? I mean, I know I definitely get scared when random people just come into the movie.
Yeah. I texted Ed when I saw Civil War. There was a guy that showed up in full motorcycle gear. Like he had like all the leathers and the helmet in his hand and everything. And I was like, yo, what's the vibe? Like, I'm too close to the front right now. Like
that's when you start deciphering a plan. You're like, okay.
Where's the exit?
Okay. Where to go?
Ed, you guys are top 3.
Top 3. Here we go. Oh,
I'm so excited.
I can't believe these are my top 3. Okay.
I know I can't. I'm ready to go.
All right, guys.
These are the blue chips.
Don't change now.
No, when you put 2 people who never fail to have great chemistry with anybody that you put them next to.
Go ahead, Ed.
Whether it's The Rock or Emma Stone, or
I'm going to write it down
Russell
before you
Crowe,
even say it.
Or thinking of another example. That can only make movie magic. And from everything I've heard so far about this movie, Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt are fantastic. And right hot off of Barbie, right off of Oppenheimer, right off of that SNL episode that rocked YouTube. That's like one of the most watched episodes, where Emily Blunt showed up for the intro. I don't know if you guys watched that.
No, I gotta watch it.
But they were great. They had like a little duet together. It was wonderful.
Say it, Ed.
It's the Fall Guy.
There you go. Ed, like I said earlier, and I could tell by your reaction, I fucked up. I wish I would have put this movie on my top 10.
It could totally flop.
And you know what's crazy is that we talked about it in my house, and I showed Kristen my list right before we recorded, and she wasn't like, "Oh, what about Fall Guy?" Like she was the one that told me. Like I'm kind of kicking myself.
I'm seeing it this weekend. Like
I can't wait to see it. But here's the thing: is like on top of that, it's going to be a great date movie that appeals to both sexes. It's not like divisive. It's going to be funny. It's going to be funny just based off of Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling's chemistry.
It's a great cast.
David Leitch is also having a moment. I didn't love Bullet Train, but that movie made money. And obviously, he's behind the Keanu Reeves, John Wick franchise. He's a guy who knows how to do action, and this movie is a testament to stunt actors. Mm-hmm. And so this could really kick off both in like the film loving community and also just the general audiences.
And
I think again, the summer vacation may not have necessarily started just yet, but we're right on the cusp, and this is the first big one. And they're really pushing this one on IMAX too. IMAX. So yeah, me and Sarah are genuinely excited to see this. We think it will be fun. It'll be a good time.
Ed, I'm kicking myself, dude. Like I wish I would have put this on my list.
Throw it in on a wild card.
No, I'll tell you why. Okay, because I've already won once, and I'm gonna just go. I'm gonna commit to mine, and if I lose, I lose. But I'm gonna commit to what I selected. Okay.
Bless you.
So I will say this: there's a reason why Fall Guy didn't register with me, and it's because I immediately selected my top 3. Like these were the first 3 things I wrote down. I was very confident.
Okay. I wonder if,
I don't know. We'll see. Okay. But for me, these were solid choices. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And in this order, I wrote them down 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay. This is how confident I am. And I'll take my L if I have to. Okay. But the number 3 movie of the summer per Miguel Sanchez. Okay. You guys, we got twins. All right. It's a nostalgia factor. Twisters is going to be the number 3 movie of this summer. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I believe it could go. I have it in my 4th, so if it hit 3 for sure, I get it.
This is a movie that is going to drive audiences, okay? It's going to be a new audience coming to see it, and it's going to be the millennial need for nostalgia, okay? When was the last time Twisters came out? The 90s. It's not like they beat this shit over, you know what I mean, with a hammer. It's like, this is the first time we're coming back to this. It's a man versus nature story. It is not just like the typical humdrum superhero popcorn movie.
Right.
Okay. It is kind of the year for this to happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And Glenn Powell, hot off the press, right? Like, he is blowing up. This is his year. He is going to have a career after this movie, whether it works or doesn't. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very confident in these top 3. Twisters is my number 3 choice. I'll talk to you guys in a second. Okay.
Bye.
Louise. I feel like all my bottom 6, anyone can fly. You know, but my number 3 is going to be an animation movie. I've only said one animation movie so far.
Okay.
It's going to be an animation movie.
Oh no.
I hear it's going to do well. I don't know.
Luis, you got that inside connection. Yeah. Let's go. He said Lightyear was not number 1. Maybe Inside Out could be number 3.
Maybe that was a little too high. I don't know.
I appreciate you not changing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Luis, if this goes as steady as I think we all 3 of us think it might, I think there's a very good chance it could end up in that top 3, top 5 spot. You know what I mean?
Ed, let's be honest. It's Luis's year. Okay.
It's Luis's year.
Well,
and if Luis could win on anything, it could be Inside Out in the number 3 spot. Okay.
It feels like Pixar's been having a harder time, and this is their time to show up and say, "All right, we're doing sequel? This." And they well, okay. I mean, yeah.
Guys, nothing seems to be working. Let's just what could we just
bring it back?
Yeah. Oh, Inside Out. Yeah, shit. Fuck it.
Dark Knight. No, this is gonna be the Dark Knight of the Inside Out franchise. The Dune Part 2 of an Inside Out franchise.
The Toy Story 2 of Pixar.
Spider-Man 2, The Judgment Day, Terminator 2.
Could be the best.
Inside Out 2 will be number 3. Okay, pass it along.
Ed.
Yeah, here we go.
Top 2.
Now this was like a struggle for me with Fall Guy. I was back and forth on my 2 and 3 spots. I have 0 doubts about my number 1 spot, but number 2.
What is it?
You know, we were talking about it earlier. As we have all these movies, I am excited about this movie. I'm trying not to get too hyped about this movie.
Got it. All right.
I can't help but get excited. It's Furiosa.
Yeah, it is. All right.
If it's lightning strikes twice, then I think, like you were saying, it will blow up. I think, it's been long enough, nearly 10 years since Fury Road, which is kind of nuts. It's been 9 years now. And, like we said, Fury Road has definitely been passed around. Like, people love that movie, both inside and out of the film community, and Inside Out 2 of the film community. But I can't help but start getting excited. That first trailer, whilst like I said, wasn't anything totally memorable.
Yeah.
Or not, but the rhythms, the beats, the drums, like, kind of had me pumped. I love the world of Mad Max, and I think Fury Road was everything that George Miller had been building towards his whole life. Yeah. And I have like the behind the scenes book about it with all the drawings, setups, whatever, the comic
drawings.
What do you call them, Luis? Help me out.
The storyboards.
Storyboards. He storyboarded that world with such detail and depth. Like, I have no doubt that he has something solid here. And this was, again, nearly 10 years ago now. So he's definitely had time to, work it out. But yeah, fingers crossed. But I hope it does well. And
I hope it does too. It made I had it higher on my list, and then I saw how much it made last time. It made 154 million. And then I look at other, animated movies, and they're averaging 370, 350, 340.
Yeah.
And so it's just that's the only thing is I felt that was a little low for me to make it in my top three.
No, 100%. But I think Fury Road may have just I think people had low expectations of it for so long.
Yep.
Leading up to it. So when it finally came out, and it ended up being a movie that nobody expected it to be, even of itself, like it wasn't Mad Max focused. It was about this woman Furiosa. So seeing where they go with that, I don't know. I think
I love it for it to be that high.
And
I could think about it maybe getting over 200 mil again if people start buzzing about this. They're pushing IMAX, all of that stuff. It could turn in its favor.
Man,
but
it's coming up real soon.
It is.
May 24th.
And, it's the one right now, it's probably my most anticipated of the summer. Like, of all the movies, this is the one I'm most excited to see. But I'm also so scared. I'm so scared.
All right.
I'm getting so excited. I want to watch Fury Road after this podcast.
Yeah, let's do it.
I think we're all going to do this dance on the next couple of choices, okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out now because I think there's going to be a movie that's going to be a little bit better. Do a little bit better, okay?
This is your number 2.
My number 2, okay, is the movie that's going to save Marvel, you guys. Okay? I told you earlier, I'm not putting any Ryan Reynolds movie in this top 10, okay? I'm putting the Ryan Reynolds movie. You guys, the second movie of the summer is going to be Deadpool 3 with Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine, okay? All right?
Forgot to put it on my list. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't think so. Don't even. Hey, I'll pull an Ed. No, okay. Yeah.
That's what everybody knows Ed for. No.
I definitely, like I said, I feel very confident in my top 3.
Yeah.
I think Deadpool is, a solid number 2 choice. Mm-hmm. If it shifts up one, then I'll get those points too. Okay. Deadpool 2. This is. I really love that superhero fatigue is kind of playing into the choices here. Yeah. Deadpool is the only Marvel movie coming out this year, or at least in the summer.
This year.
Is Falcon and Winter or Falcon?
Everything got
well,
moved.
We do have Kraven the Hunter, but that's Sony.
That's Marvel Studios at Marvel Studios. Yeah, I feel like this is for them to take a beat because Ryan Reynolds and them, they were their own creative team, so they could kind of flush this out while they're trying to fix what's it called, the new Captain America. And
I have my personal qualms with the trailer for this movie, but I do think this is the one. Yeah.
Oh,
wait. Yeah, the one that just came out. I guess I didn't talk about it.
Seen it, so that's why. Yeah,
I do have some qualms. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is going to put butts in seats. Okay, and I do think it's going to be a top 3 movie for sure.
If this doesn't do well, then it's going to say a lot.
That's not talking about my conviction. Okay, like that is more so about the Marvel universe in general. Okay. So yeah, I can't wait to talk about number 1, Luis.
All right, my number 2 is about a franchise that has made a lot of money and doesn't stop. Do I want it to be this high? I do not want it to be this high, but people show up for this movie, and I'm gonna put Despicable Me 4 as my number 2. I think people are gonna show up. out of jokes, out of just because.
I don't think you're wrong, Luis.
You know what? It's 2 for you. It's 4 for me. It's 6 for Ed. There's a pattern here. Okay.
No, I had it at number 4.
Oh, sorry. 6 is me. Sorry. Two for you. I initially had it that Ed was going to go first, and I had to scribble that. Okay. I didn't realize. Okay. Oh no, sorry. Forgive me.
Sorry. Thank God I'm writing it down like I said I would.
Well, I wrote it down too. Okay. There's a lot of scribbles.
I had a feeling what our number ones are going to be, but after your number 2 pick, let's go. Ed, what is the number 1 movie?
Guys, it's Deadpool and Wolverine. Do I have 100% faith in this film? No, not necessarily. But it's the event movie of the summer.
Let's talk about that phrase for a second, okay? Because that was something that I
on that last year.
I definitely said that a lot last year. The event movie of the summer was going to be Flash, okay?
Yeah, but I don't think this is
This is different.
Yeah, this is like, if anything, they can play in on the comedy on this one.
Yeah.
If Hugh Jackman doesn't put butts in seats as Wolverine, then nothing else will.
They're pulling out all the stops. The comic book accurate suits, the mutants, the villains, the MCU lore. We're seeing Ant-Man, Giant Man's skull. You know what I mean? Like they're saying this is a movie.
You're saying too much already. I didn't know those things.
Oh shit!
You got to not say all those things. I didn't know about that.
Sorry. We'll shut up. But
I was just kind of like improvising.
It just it seems like a locked winner one way or another, even if it doesn't end up at number 1. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
it's a top 3 movie.
I think it is a top 3 movie. I think it could definitely clear easily 200 million domestic, even if it's bad. You know what I mean? Which would put it pretty high up on the list. So, I mean, not much more to say about it, especially since we can't talk about the trailer.
Luis.
But no, it is that, and I think Ryan Reynolds does seem to have a astute handle on his career and life right now. So I think he knew what he was doing when he was getting into this, and I don't think Hugh Jackman would have done it. Well, he might have. It's
a lot of money. You have to assume it's a lot of money they gave him.
A ton of money. Oh yeah. You know? But like, yeah, so we'll see, but yeah.
Deadpool, Wolverine. Miguel, what's your number 1?
Ed and I, like I said, we're doing a dance, okay? My number 1 movie of the summer, okay? And this is not a movie that I'm flocking to, but I think it's gonna be the number 1 movie, okay?
Okay.
You guys, people loved Fury Road. Okay. People love Anya Taylor-Joy. You guys, the number 1 movie of the summer, and this is the previous winner calling it, okay, is going to be Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, okay? I just don't have anything to say. I mean, this is the movie. In my heart of hearts, like I said, I hope this movie is as good as I want it to be, and I hope it makes every fucking buck that is in people's wallets this summer. You know, I feel very confident. This is, I mean, even watching the trailer, we talk about CGI. We were talking about it last night. The CGI does not look good in that first trailer.
Miguel, I think you are just hard to please.
Sure. Okay, don't get me wrong, okay? But this is the one that I'm really banking on, and I think it's going to be it. And like I said, I'll take my L's, okay? Because, you know, if I lose this one, I lose this one. Who I really want to win is Luis, okay? With Despicable Me in number 2, I want Luis to win. Anyone but
I didn't want to put these 2 animated movies
my motto.
Up top on 2 and 3, but that's just what happened.
You know, we'll see it. We'll just see it, okay?
All right,
Luis, let's hear your number 1.
My number 1 movie is going to be Horizon, American Saga. No.
Stop.
It's Deadpool and Wolverine. For me, when I think of the summer, I think of Deadpool, Wolverine. All other movies fall away from that. This is the movie that is the center of that tentpole.
I hear that.
You know, it feels like a moment, and if that fails, then I guess I don't know.
Kill yourself. No,
I'll kill myself. No, I'm kidding. No, yeah, I don't know if it fails, then yeah, Marvel's not going to be doing too hot. But
I mean, we talked about temperature earlier on. I mean, this is kind of one of those temperature takers. You know what I mean? Is this movie going to do well for Marvel? Let's see.
It's a temperature check. Let's see how they're doing.
Yeah. Man, now I just want to hear what you guys' wild cards are.
We can do these just back to back. So Ed, do you want to
just all three? Yeah. Let's go.
Miguel, I mean, Luis might feel differently, but it's not too late to make Fall Guy a wild card if you want.
You know what? Wait till you hear my wild cards, okay? I'm gonna say I will take my L on Fall Guy because I'm kind of kicking myself about that. But I feel very confident about my choices, even in my wild card.
Can I just ask, what is this thing you keep saying? I'll take my L.
Ed.
Like, I'll take my loss? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So just say the word.
Ed's pushing 40, you guys. All right, he's going to...
I'll take my L.
Ed, what are your three wild cards?
Can we do it? Let me ask this.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick.
Yes.
Is the wild card, is it like a 3-2-1? Like I have a tier, or is it just wild card is any of these three?
It can rank anywhere, right?
Rank anywhere. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I have mine in a 3-2-1, but I'll just throw it out. Whatever. Okay. Sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
And sorry, am I just going with all three of mine right now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for my wild cards, I had Borderlands.
Yep.
I also had M. Night Shyamalan's Trap.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that for a second because when I looked at the list, it was not on the wide released. I wanted to put Trap on there, but I thought we weren't doing that.
Let me just...
Oh, what do you mean? Oh, like, even if it's not wide release, I guess that counts.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stick with my choices,
but it's not a wide release though. I'm looking. Sorry,
I have thoughts about Trap. This is like Josh Hartnett is on a renaissance, right? Like he is coming back, and this is definitely don't make that face, Ed. Okay, I'm speaking for you right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, M. Night Shyamalan thrillers.
His daughter's also putting a movie out this year.
What?
Ed, you had Borderlands, Trap. Ed, go ahead.
Okay, and lastly, guys, this one is just in my heart of hearts. I want there to be a good and a successful Western. I'm somehow gunning for Kevin Costner's Horizon, an American Saga, and I guess I'm going with part one, just in case it's bad and it doesn't make money on the follow-up. But Kevin Costner is kind of on a high right now with Yellowstone. And
that's been a big conversation.
We're talking about domestic, and Americans love a good Western. Americans love Kevin Costner.
You should talk to my wife because she was she was very anti this movie, but was also but I see why this could work. I
feel like this could be last year's Sound of Freedom.
Wow. Here's what's going to kill this movie for me. Yeah. Okay.
It's also
the fact. Sorry, I don't want to overstep. But what's going to kill it for me is the part 1, part 2 in one summer.
Yeah, okay? 100%.
That's a tough, because it automatically tells me, what is this product? What is this story? You know what I mean? If at that point, just make it a TV show.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But watching the trailer, I do see why there's a vibe. You know what I mean? And you're right. Yellowstone is a big hit. Kevin Costner is a big hit. It looks good. It's a good cast. Yeah. I just think it's a really hard sell.
Oh, it could be like a massive swing and a miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I said, there could just be an audience for it. And what I was about to say was that it is opening in Cannes. But both parts. So if that gets enough traction and word of mouth starts spreading,
I didn't think about that.
Like, and that's really a big part of why I'm putting it on there too. You know, like I said, it could get enough traction to make like a modest hit. But and again, I'm yearning. There are not enough westerns these days, and I'm yearning for a good one.
And
Kevin Costner can make a solid western.
I was listening up on a podcast about Tubi, the free app where you can just watch content. And on this podcast, I think it's some head of Tubi, they're saying that westerns are actually watched a lot. They rank high in their programming. So if that's just like the taste that general audience is having now, then maybe this movie is going to resonate with them. Like, hey, we're watching this on streaming. Let's go to the theaters for this moment.
Especially I think older audiences. Yeah,
I think maybe because they shifted for like it's a summer too late, but just last year we were watching movies that were 3 hours long. You know what I mean? These movies were hits, they were bangers, and it's like if you could have combined the story into a 3-hour epic, right, and still called it a saga, you know what I mean?
Right.
That might have done better for it. But the split, I was talking to Kristen, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but the last time I remember a movie being split over like kind of a 6-month period was, do you remember when Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions came out?
Oh
those came out in the same year, but they were like a spring movie and a late fall, like winter movie. You know what I mean? And so for both of these movies to be coming out in the same summer, it's just kind of like, just cut it down. You know what I mean? Make a choice.
Yeah. I mean, you could literally probably go to a movie theater and see both of the screenings at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Be like on a late window for the first one and an early window for the second one.
Which again could also give part one some legs later on.
It could bolster it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but at the same time, Miguel, you're absolutely right. Nobody wants to. I mean, I haven't looked up.
It feels like a business thing. Like there was some sort of business tactic that someone trying to.
But I also feel like
it's also again a really great cast, and it looks very. It's a very like visually appealing movie.
Yeah.
So I was kind of torn on this one, to be honest.
Sure. Well, there you go. Those are my wild cards.
Wait, yours was Horizon, Borderlands, and
Trap.
That's right. Okay. Miguel.
Okay. You're gonna hear some of these again.
Okay.
Borderlands is definitely a wild card. Okay. Mainly because of the year of video game adaptations. Okay. This is one that was in kind of like perpetual delay. The video game community kind of spat on it the moment the trailer and the pictures all came out, but I don't think that's how the reception is going to be when it actually comes out. Kevin Hart's a big draw. Cate Blanchett's a big draw. Jack Black's a big draw. I think Borderlands is a solid wild card choice.
Yeah.
The other movie that I think is a wild card just because it's a drama coming out in the middle of the summer, but it has Tom Hardy. It has Austin Butler. I think Bike Riders is going to be one of those wild card hits. It could be the thing, kind of a movie that people are yearning for in the middle of the summer.
Right.
Yeah, I talk shit about it. Don't get me wrong. Okay. But I do think it's a wild card choice. And finally, this is a movie that I maybe would have put higher on my list if it came out earlier in the year. But I'm going to put out last weekend of our calendar window is The Crow. I'm going to make it the wild card. It's actually two. I know. It's actually 2 weekends before the end of our cutoff, but it's like the last big.
Yeah.
There's a couple of movies, but it's the last big one of the summer.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think if it has a couple of good weekends, it could have legs. It could give us a push. I think the trailer was great. I think the casting is solid. It's a movie that's kind of been in development hell for like 30 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's got potential. And that's why it's in my wild card. So
all right.
there you go.
Bill Skarsgård is kind of having a year too. He's got Nosferatu coming out later. He's got this movie, which admittedly I don't think a whole lot of people are pumped about. But he also had a movie just come out, Boy Kills World.
Right.
So the other thing that I mentioned earlier was this is kind of a horror movie that's a little bit at the end of the summer. It's a hop and a skip away from Halloween. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By the time this movie wraps up and hits VOD, that's the October season. So it could like kind of draw an audience to see it. I will see. Wild card.
Right. They could just be like, I'll wait till it comes out on streaming.
It could go either way. Yeah.
All right, my 3 wild cards. One of them is Alien Romulus. This is originally actually in my top 10 for a bit. And then when I looked at the past box office, it was just so disheartening to see how low, like 75, not even breaking 100. And you kind of have to break 100 to get in my top 10. You know, so, and I don't know if people are going to show up immediately. It might get legs later on the line by word of mouth by how good this movie is. But it's showing up so late at the
late
August
in the
16th.
summer, right?
Yeah, late in the summer. If it was June, I would probably move it up a little bit. But another one is Horizon American Saga. This one I'm not actually attached to at all, but I keep hearing word about it everywhere. It keeps popping up in the conversation, and I just have to look at myself and say, well, hey, it's not for me, but it seems like it's bubbling. So I got to put in the wild card.
I cannot believe. Wow. Okay.
Wait, which part are you going?
Saga 1.
Okay. That's important.
It is.
Very important. And then my last one is one that we've all picked together, Borderlands. I think it's to a general audience person, they see the cast, they know one of them, and they say, "Oh, that looks quirky and Guardians of the Galaxy and fun. I'll buy a ticket to go see it."
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my list, my top, like Despicable Me, Inside Out 2. As far as like what I'm excited to see, those aren't on my top 3, but that's just what I'm predicting. You know, like I want my Furiosa. I want.
No, of course not. Yeah, that's the thing.
I think it's a good wild card.
Yeah, you really, Miguel, for instance, Bike Riders would be at the top spot. You know what I mean? Because I am super pumped for that movie.
No, I know, but
give it $1 billion.
It's a vibe.
But yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a vibe. But I'm glad you gave it a little shout out. So
I will say, if I haven't said it already, okay, I saw the trailer. I was giving you guys shit, but the second trailer, it does look pretty good. Okay, I'm not a big Tom Hardy fan. I get the Austin Butler hype, but the story just seems, you know what I mean, ripe for.
Jeff Nichols is a great director. He's really underappreciated.
That's what I mean. It's kind of like a middle of the summer. It could kind of be a hit.
It was supposed to be in like the Best Picture running last year. Like it was supposed to get a huge Oscar push, but then we had the strikes, so it got bumped back.
What sold me is in the trailer where they burn the bar down, and the guy goes like, "We should leave," and Tom Hardy goes, "No, they're scared of us." Yeah. And I was like, okay, vibe. I see you, Tom Hardy. Like, you doing a voice.
He had an accent, right?
Let's go. Yeah.
They're scared of us. No, I forget the
trailer. Batman. Let's ride these bikes.
Time to leave. No, what does he say? Let's take this off-road.
Let's go mobile.
Yes. Time to go mobile. Yeah.
Time to go mobile.
Glenn Howerton was in that scene too. You know what I mean?
He was, yeah. Glenn.
Dane's been riding bikes, okay? Like
that was a whole sequence, wasn't it?
You guys, I think this is a solid year. Like I said, I feel like we've learned. This is let's see how it goes. It could go any direction.
This was so much less stressful than the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I feel like sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. I've been Googling this on the side. Have you guys seen the movie Lawless?
It's been a minute.
Does Bike Riders give you Lawless vibes, or is it completely a different movie?
I feel like it's completely different. Yeah.
Okay.
Ed would say that, Luis. I see what you're saying. All right. Like Tom Hardy,
showing up
like
business, like
country hick, weird ass accent. Okay.
Yeah.
He's
looking down,
probably
spitting.
Probably he smells, like I get it.
I'm here for it. I don't. I'm a Tom Hardy fan, Stan.
That was our summer movie wager. Just to recap on the points here. If you get number 1 or number 10 dead on, 13 points. If you land dead on from 2 to 9, 10 points. If you're 1 spot away, 7 points. If you're 2 spots away, 5. If you're anywhere in the top 10, 3. And if any of your dark horses make it, you get 1. So we'll keep you updated on, how we're doing throughout the summer season. And then we'll do an episode around September 4th. Did you guys want to talk about what we're into or no?
No.
Okay.
No. But go see Challenges.
Luis.
I was kind of not wanting to see that movie, but it's getting so much buzz right now.
Yeah. Luis, I'm seeing it before the next episode, so
I probably won't see it before the next episode.
Luis, can I just give you the quick spiel that I've been hyping myself up to give you? I feel like the trailer does it a huge disservice. You're familiar with Luca Guadagnino?
I looked up his IMDb earlier and I've already forgotten the movies he was on. Sorry.
You haven't seen Call Me By Your Name?
Let me look him up. Google.
Continue.
Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, that's right. No, I actually never saw that movie, no.
Oh, shit. Well, I feel like for that reason, then, that you don't know what this movie is going to be. But on a technical standpoint, Luis, I feel like this movie checks off all the things that you look for.
Go ahead, Ed.
The movie, the cinematography is lush. The structure of the story is so precise and well done, and builds up to a wonderful finale. I feel like and the visual language of it too. And I'm not just being a twat. I just think like everything about it, the audio design too is perfect. Like you can hear every bone crunch, tennis racket hit and smash, and the score by Trent Reznor just gives it this beautiful pulse throughout. It's fucking. I'm just very excited. I'm really looking forward to Miguel and Kristen seeing it, and I think you would enjoy it if you gave it a shot.
I think you're right. I feel like the trailer did a lot of disservice.
I think it makes the movie look generic, and but it's not that at all. It's just a really well-crafted film on top of some really great performances.
All right.
And that's all I'll say. Because I promised Miguel I wouldn't.
Thank you. I mean, Ed is the one who sold it for me, but it was at the same time coupled with the fact that the internet has not stopped talking about this movie. And I was kind of like, okay, Ed, if Ed had come back and was like, Miguel, this is the worst movie I've ever seen, I would have been like, oh, it's just talk. You know what I mean? Well, she's just talking fam. You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, it sounds like one we're going to go see. So Luis,
all right,
on board.
All right. Well, maybe, my plans might change this weekend. We'll see. Yeah, we're feeling.
You guys, summer movie wager? What?
Part 3.
Third time?
Like, if Luis does win, do we just stop after this?
I think we should. Let us know down below in the comments, okay? Who do you think is going to win? Ed, Luis, Miguel, okay?
How do you like your odds?
It's clearly Luis, okay? Despicable Me 4, number 2.
Inside Out, number 3. Had to have a
Let's go.
Tune in next week when we're going to review something. We'll probably talk about Challengers. We might talk about the fall.
Challengers.
Yeah. But until then, it's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me has been
Miguel Sanchez
and Deadpool.
And until next time, later, Gators.